This is Mahesh Kambi, and once again welcome to my channel. Before we start, I want to ensure that you have watched the how to use tool video. If not, please watch it first. I won't be spending time in how to navigate through workbook or how to see and use question banks, how to track practice progress, how to get solved your own dynamic questions, etc. So please watch that tool video before you watch this video. Another note you want to make: today's concept is part of 10th standard SSC board, that is Maharashtra State Board, in both English and Marathi medium. Also, it is 9th ICSC board, English medium. So let's get back to learning today's math concept. Before we start learning today's concept, please welcome my buddies who are from Persia, and their names are Newton and Pascal. They will be helping us to relax during our teaching session breaks. So feel free to play with them. They're very gentle. Who knows, if they are incarnation of Newton and Pascal scientists, they might teach you physics and mathematics, maybe much better than me. So pay attention. If you find them teaching you science or mathematics, let me know. I will let them teach you. One more friend of mine from Omaha, Nebraska, United States, is going to help me to teach you. His name is Ace. So keep looking at them for a few seconds. Oh, they're so cute. Anyways, let us get back to learning concept. We are going to learn linear equation today. So let's straight away jump to concepts. Here we go. Okay, what is a linear equation? A linear equation is an equation of a straight line. These equations are single degree equations involving two variables and three constants. What do you mean by single degree equation? The highest power of the variable is 1. That is the reason it is called single degree equation. And what is the meaning of it represents straight line? When you use this equation and find out points with xy coordinate for assumed values of x and use those points and you draw a graph, it is a straight line. That is the reason linear equation represents straight line. It is always written in the form of ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Look at number 3, row number 3. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, or ax plus by is equal to c, where small a, b, c are constants and capital X and y are those two variables. Now, what is the meaning of solving simultaneous linear equations? In this case, two linear equations are given and you have to find out values of x and y which satisfy both the equations. That is a common point between these two equations, or a xy value which satisfies both the equations, and after computation they result into 0. Okay, how many methods are there to solve this? There are 3 methods to solve these equations. First method is graph method, second method is Cramer rule, and third method is addition method. So let's take a look at graph method. Now, if you draw a graph of both the equations for relevant xy pairs, and based on nature of the intersection of these lines, you can determine values of x. If line intersects, then definitely when two lines intersect, they will always intersect only into one point, and xy coordinates of that point are nothing but your solution to these simultaneous linear equations. If lines are parallel, obviously they are not intersecting. That means there is no common point. So there is no solution, or you cannot find out x and y values for these two linear equations. And there is a third possibility. If lines are coincident lines, then all points are common to both the lines. So in that case, the possibility of values of x, y are infinity, right? So there are 3 possibilities. 1, there is only one point of intersection. There is no point of intersection. That means lines are parallel, no XY solution. And third one is overlapping line. So now let's take a look at real graph and how does it look. So let's go to addition method and let's choose some number 16. Alright, now we will not look at any other method here. We will straight away go to graph. Did you see that? How does graph look? Now there are two equations given, 1x plus 1y is equal to 8 and second equation is 1x minus 2y is equal to 2. If you look at left hand side, look at row number 4. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. So I have assumed some x values 0 to 6 and then I calculated associated y, and using these xy pairs I have drawn, computer has drawn the graph. So there are two. The blue line is for equation 1 and a red line is for equation 2. Now what is the answer or what is the solution to this xy? If you look at it, look at the point of intersection. What is the point of intersection? 6, 2. So your answer is x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 2. These are xy coordinators of this point of intersection. So this is the way you draw a graph and you solve your simultaneous equation. All right. Okay. Now let's get back to a second example. Now let's choose example number 17. Okay. Let's go back to graph. Look at it. What has happened? There is only single line. That means line are overlapping. So all the points belongs to both the lines. Did you see this? Okay. So same way, we have taken equation 1, we have taken equation 2 and calculated respective y's for assumed 10 assumed values of x, and then we have drawn a graph. Okay. Now let's look at third method, the third graph. Let's look at example 18. Did you notice here? X is equal to no value, y is equal to no value. That means you cannot solve this equation. There are no common points. Obviously, it is a parallel lines. Look at it. Same way, equation 1, equation 2, we have calculated the pairs and then we have drawn the graphs. So lines are parallel, and that is the reason there is no point of intersection. So this is the way you take the two equations, calculate x and y pairs, draw the graphs. Those two lines determine the nature of those two lines. If there are parallel, no solution. If they are intersecting with each other, there is a single common point, that is your value of x and y. And if they are overlapping with each other, then that's your next answer. All right. So enough about graph. I hope you understood the graphs. Okay. Let us take a break again for a minute before we learn next method. Aha! Isn't this tandoori chicken yummy, yummy? You know what? This doesn't need oven. So without oven she can cook. So tell your mom to make it. She can make it now and make you eat it after this session. And show her this recipe which is displayed on the screen. It's pretty easy to make. My wife made it for me. And after this session I want to eat it. So I have to wait. Alright. Let's take a break. Okay, now let us take a look at Kramer method. Oh, it is Marathi here, right? Let me change that first to English. Alright, so we are going to use this Kramer rule. Basically, Kramer rule, it uses a method called determinant method. Rather than explaining the concept in theory, let's straight away jump to the sums. I'm going to go to addition method and then let's choose some number 16. Okay, this is sum number 16. We are not going to look at anything else. We are going to look at Kramer rule. Okay, here let me explain. Basically, in Kramer rule, when you want to solve two equations using determinant method or using Kramer's rule, what do you do? What you do is you write your first equation. Look at line number 3, which is, in this case, it is 1x plus 1y is equal to 8. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, and c is equal to 8. Same way, you have equation 2, 1x plus minus 2y is equal to 2. So you have written 1, minus 2, and 2. The first thing which you have to do is you have to arrange them in 2 rows by 3 column, or 2 by 3 matrix. And this is the way you have to arrange. You have to write in first row, you have to write a1 b1 c1, and in second row you have to write a2 b2 c2. So a2 b2 c2s are the coordinates and a constant of second equation, a1 b1 c1 coordinates of first and constant of first equation. Okay, once you have done that, then out of these 6 numbers, or 2 into 3, 2 by 3 matrix, what you have to do is you have to make a 2 by 2 matrix. Look at line number 7 and 8. In the first matrix, you have to eliminate O, that is C1, right? It's the O column. So you eliminate this C. So what is left? A1, A2, B1, B2. Write down exactly in the same order A1, A2 and B1, B2 in this matrix. Got it? So in this case, what you have done? You have taken coordinates of both X and Y. Now that matrix, and if you calculate determinant of that matrix, that is assumed to be D, because in this case, you have considered coefficients of both x and y. So I hope you understood how you constructed first matrix. Then the second matrix which you will be constructing is for x. So you eliminate coefficients of x. Look at column M. So you are eliminating that coefficient, and then you are only taking C1, C2 and B1, B2, and it's a circular. It's a anti-clockwise. So in this case, earlier you took A1, B1, that is the order you have chosen. Now here you have to take C1, then A1. So technically speaking, for X, you eliminated values of A1 and you have written B1, C1, C2 and B1, B2. Okay, so this is your second matrix. Okay, in the third matrix for Y, what you do is you eliminate coefficients of Y, and then you write down A1, C1, A2, C2 after eliminating this guy. And since in this case you have eliminated coefficients of y, this determinant is called dy. So this is the way you constructed 3 matrices, one for determinant d, one for determinant dx, and one for determinant dy. Perfect. Now you replace these values of a1, a2, b1, b2. In this case it is 1, 1, 1 minus 2. In this case it is 8, 1, 2 minus 2. Here it is 1, 8, 1, 2. Fantastic. Now how do you calculate determinant? Now look at P and R, and row number 3 and row number 5. Look at this diagram. How you calculate determinant? You do a cross product and then subtract it. Now when you say cross product, what do? You multiply A1 with B2. Same way you multiply A2 with B1. And to calculate determinant, product of A1 B2 minus A2 B1. That is your answer. Now look at this. In this case, since it is A1 A2 and B1 B2, A1 into B2 minus A2 into B1. So in this case, it is 1 into minus 2, which is minus 2, minus of 1 into 1, which is minus 1. So minus 2 minus 1, minus 3. This is what you got. So you got a value of D. Then you got dx. Same way, exactly same way it has calculated. 8 2s are 16, which is minus 16. 2 1s are 2, minus, so 16, minus 16 minus 2 is minus 18. Same way here, 1 into 2, which is 2, and 1 into 8 is 8. So 2 minus 8 is minus 6. So this is the way you calculated d is equal to 3, dx is equal to minus 18, and dy is equal to minus 6. Now how you calculate value of x? X is equal to dx by d. In this case, minus 18 divided by minus 3, which is 6. Minus minus plus 18 by 3, 3 6 are 18. So answer is plus 6. Same way, to find out y, you say dy by d. In this case, minus 6 divided by 3. 3 2s are 6. Minus minus plus. So your answer is 2. So this is the way you calculate determinant, and using those determinant value, you calculate x and y. Pretty simple, right? Okay. Now, there are other different types of questions using determinant. What are those? Let me show you properties. There are 3 properties in this linear equations, which where questions are asked around these properties. What are those properties? Look at it. The first property is, if d is not equal to 0 or a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2, then unique solution of x. What does that mean? There is only one value of x is possible, and the given system of 2 linear equations is consistent. And when there is a common value of x available, that means these lines intersect with each other. That is the reason you found unique solution of x. That is your first property. What is your second property? If d is equal to 0, after calculating determinant, if you realize that if d is equal to 0 and dx is equal to 0, both of them are 0, or a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2, then infinite solutions of x are possible. System of 2 linear equation is considered consistent, and lines are coincident. I had explained you in the graph that when lines are coincident, there are n number of possible values of common points. All points of the line are common because those lines are overlapping. Very simple. Okay. Then the third property. What is that third property? If d is equal to 0 and dx is not equal to 0, or a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2, and they are not equal to c1 upon c2, then there are no solutions of x. What does that mean? There is no common point. And when there is no common point, meaning those lines are not going to intersect, that means they are parallel lines. Pretty easy to remember these 3 rules this way. Okay, again let's repeat. If d is not equal to 0 or a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2, then unique solution of x, system is consistent and lines intersect with each other. If d is equal to 0 and dx is not equal to 0, or a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2, then infinite solutions of x, system is consistent and lines are coincident. म्हणजेच I mean overlapping. Okay, if d is equal to 0 and dx is not equal to 0, or a1 a2 is equal to b1 b upon b2, which is not equal to c1 upon c2, then no solution of x, system is consistent, and system is inconsistent and lines are parallel, so no solution here. Got it? So now let's take out our this example number 16. What has happened here? D is minus 3. So let's take a look at this property. Alright, D is minus 3. So D is not equal to 0. A1 upon A2 is not equal to B1 upon B2. See here, A1 upon A2 is 1, B1 upon B2 is minus half. So they are not same. So A1 upon A2 is not equal to B1 upon B2. And that is the reason you found a unique equation, you found a unique intersection point. X is equal to 6, y is equal to 2. That means these lines are intersecting. Let's take a look at graph of this guy. There you go, lines are intersecting. What is our answer? 6 comma 2. In this case we have intersection point 6 comma 2. Do you see that property? Do you see those coordinates of that x? That is your answer. Got it? So this is the way, simply by calculating the values of d, dx and dy, you can tell the properties or then explain the nature of the lines and whether they intersect with each other or not. Got it? So this was intersecting line. Now let's take a look at second example, which is example number 17, which is coincident lines. Now let's again go back to Cramer rule. See here what has happened. D is equal to 0, dx is equal to 0, dy is equal to 0. So what is that property tells us? This is the property. What does that property tell us? If d is equal to 0 and dx is equal to 0, in this case both are 0, and a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2, 1 upon 2 is equal to minus 1 upon minus 2 is equal to minus 2 upon minus 4. And that is the reason these two lines are coincident and there are infinite solutions. So this is true for all the points of a given line. All the points are common to both the lines. So if you really look at the difference between these two equations is pretty simple. Second equation is derived by multiplying with a constant number with equation 1. So in this case what has happened? If you multiply equation 1 with 2, 2 ones are 1 2x, 2 minus 1s are minus 2, so minus 2y, 2 into minus 2. So if you multiply second equation, equation 1 with 2, you get equation 2. So in this scenario, both the lines are technically same because they are multipliers of other one. You got it? So this is coincident line rule. Now let's take a look at next sum, which is sum number 18. All right. See here, it could not calculate x and y even using addition method. So now let's take a look at Kramer rule. What has happened here? D is 0, dx is 5 and dy is 0. Now you know, right? You cannot divide anything by 0. And since d is 0, you cannot calculate x because formula is dx by d. And if d is 0, you cannot calculate the value. So that is the reason in this case, when d is equal to 0, you cannot calculate x and y. So now what that rule says? If d is equal to 0 and dx not equal to 0, or a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 not equal to c1 upon c2, then no solutions of x. System is inconsistent and lines are parallel. Let's verify that. See, in this case, a1 upon a2 is 2 by 2, which is equal to 1. b1 upon b2 minus 1 upon minus 1, which is 1. So a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2. But c1 upon c2 is minus 1 upon 4, so it is not equal to. Did you see that? So that is the reason these lines are parallel. Now let's take a look at graph. There you go. These are parallel lines. So this is the way you use Kramer rule to A, solve the sum and find out values of x and y, and based on the nature of d, dx, dy and nature of a1 upon a2, b1 upon b2 and c1 upon c2, you can determine and tell whether those lines are parallel or intersecting or overlapping. That's it. That's the Kramer rule. Hope you understood Kramer rule. You can choose, there are many sums here. If you look at it, you can select all those questions, you solve it on your own, and then see here, even there are board papers here. Board paper questions are there because this is SSC board concept. So you can solve many of them, and then you can find out irrespective of which method they have asked to solve in the board, you will see all the types here. Let's take a look at this guy maybe. All right. So here it has solved using board paper, it has solved using multiple methods. All right. So we are done with Kramer rule. Okay, now let's take a break again. But during that break, this is my wife's recipe. She had made this mango phirni and she has shown me how to make it. So maybe after eating that spicy tandoori chicken, which I had shown you earlier, you might want to ask your mom to make some sweet dish. This will be a perfect one for this current season. I'm pretty sure you all will have mangoes at home. Oh, look at it. So beautiful. By the way, my wife's name is Netra and she's excellent cook. Oops, I shouldn't call anybody nowadays cook. Kaan ke niche bachti hai yaar. Chef. My wife is excellent chef. But anyway, she is truly excellent chef. This is her mango phirni. Look at it. These are the ingredients. Now, just want to let you understand, I believe tablespoon T is always capital and teaspoon T is small. So keep that in mind. I don't know whether all these alphabets which she has used are right or wrong, but this is what she had written. I'm just presenting it to you. Make it if there are any errors, let me know. All right, let's move on to next topic. Okay, now let's take a look at addition method. We will see actual sum, you will understand it better. But in addition method, the trick is when you add two equations, one of the variable should get eliminated. So what is the simple trick you do here is one of the equation you multiply in such a way that after multiplication coefficients of either x or y, their value is same but their signs are opposite. So what happens in that case is, suppose if x has a same positive coefficient and y has a negative coefficient and their value this in second equation, if x has same value but with negative sign, then when you add two equations, x gets automatically eliminated. Minus 2x plus 2x is 0x, so x got eliminated, and once there is only y, you can straight away start calculating y. So let's take a look at appropriate example how it has solved the sum. Let's take a look at question number, we'll take a better example. Okay, let's take question number 7. Okay, here x is equal to 3, y is equal to 2. So let's look at the steps directly. Okay, here what it has done. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Marathi, make it English. English, you go to addition method, and now the sum which we selected was sum number 7, and now we have to look at steps. All right, now they are in English. Fantastic. Look at step 1 to step 20. Okay, what are your options here? As I said, there are two equations, right? What are those equations? First equation is 3x minus 1y is equal to 7, and second equation is 1x plus 4y is equal to 11. So what it says is there are two possible options. Okay, you multiply second equation 1x plus 4y is equal to 11 with minus 3, or the first equation 3x minus 1y is equal to 7. So you can do either option 1 or option 2. Why I have mentioned it here? Because sometimes your multiplications are very huge depending upon coefficient numbers. So you have to be very choosy which option you use. You should always choose the option which lets you do a multiplication whose result is smaller and multipliers are smaller. So that's the trick. So in this case, it has chosen option 1. What it has done is it left equation 1 as it is. The equation 1 was 3x minus 1y is equal to 7. So that equation it left as it is. But it multiplied equation 2 with minus 3. So that equation 1x plus 4y is equal to 11 become minus 3 into 1 minus 3x, minus 3 into 4 minus 12, and minus 3 into 11 is minus 33. So step number 7, minus 3x minus 12y is equal to minus 33. Now it has added equation 1 and equation 2. So since minus 3x and plus 3x gets knocked off, it's 0. 1y minus 1y minus 12y is minus 13y, and minus 33 plus 7 is minus 26. Pretty easy, right? Y is equal to minus 26 upon minus 13, y is equal to 2. And once you obtained y, choose one of the equation. In this case, it has chosen equation 1, 3x minus 1y is equal to 7. Substitute value of y. In this case, it is 2. So 3x minus 1 into 2 is equal to 7. So 3x is equal to 7 minus of minus 2, which is 7 plus 2, which is 9. So x is equal to 9 by 3. X is equal to 3. This is the way addition method is used. So nothing, there is just a simple trick. Use a proper multiplier to multiply one of the equations, so that way one of the variables coefficients are same and opposite with opposite sign. That's it. It's pretty simple. We are not going to look at many examples here. There are tons of examples here. You take any question, solve it yourself, look at how computer has solved it for you, and pretty much that's it. All right, now there is another method left. What is that method? Something called assumed XY method. And where that is to be used and why that is to be used, let me explain you. So let's choose some number 19, a question number 19. Now here I have not shown you the original equation, but look at line number 3 and line number 4. Look at column number n. So n3, n4. Do you see? Here it is assumed x is equal to 1 upon x and y is equal to 1 upon y, because original equation was 2 divided by x minus 3 divided by y is equal to 15. Same way, 8 divided by x plus 5 divided by y is equal to 17. That was the original relation. And if your variables are in denominator, that is divided by that variable, then you cannot solve that even if it is the nature of linear equation. You cannot solve those sums using any of the methods. So the trick here is, for time being, you assume 1 upon x is equal to capital X and 1 upon y is equal to capital Y. So once you replace that 1 upon x with x, look at it, it's a variable which does not have denominator. So here trick is getting rid of variable which is in the denominator. So that is the reason you assume a new variable which does not have a denominator equal to 1 divided by that denominator. So that is the trick. And once that equation is done this way, rewritten this way, then you can use any method, addition method, Kramer rule, graph method, etc., etc., and calculate capital X. And once you found capital X, since x is equal to 1 upon x, small x is equal to 1 upon capital X, you can calculate x. Let's look at the steps of this guy. Okay, here it is. The equation was transformed, and then it decided that it will multiply equation 1. Oh, good that we selected this equation. In this case, what had happened was there was no solution or a no multiplier which could have made the two variables, the same variables a1 and a2 values same with negative sum. So in this case, what it has done is it has multiplied both the equations. It has multiplied first equation with 4 and second with -1, or first equation with 5 or with 3. And since equation 1 seems to be a smaller multiplier, the option 1 seems to be smaller multiplication, it has chosen option 1. So in this case, first 2x minus 3y is equal to 15, it has multiplied by 4. So 8x minus 12y is equal to 60. And second equation, it has multiplied by -1 just to make the sign of x variable negative. So that is the reason it has multiplied by -1. So it became minus 8x minus 5y is equal to minus 77, and then it solved y is equal to 1, and then replacing y 9. And ultimately, since this is assumed x, what has happened is your original x, okay, here it has given the proof, okay, here it is. Okay, now since you were supposed to calculate small x, this is an assumed equation. X is equal to 9. Look at steps 27. X is equal to 9. That's the reason small x is equal to 1 upon 9. And same way y is equal to 1 upon 1. These are your final values. And original equations proof. Fantastic. So this is the way assumed x equations are solved. Let's take a look at a little bit टेढ़ा सम. हिंदी में आप टेढ़ा सम बोलते हो ना थोड़ा सा. चलो, let's take a look at this guy. Here assumption is different, right? Here equation was 27 upon x minus 2 plus 31 upon y plus 3. That was the equation. So here assumption is capital X is equal to 1 upon x minus 2. Let's look at the steps. And what is that sum number? Sum number 22. All right. Now look at the steps. Same thing. After converting, it has solved using addition method, and at the end, x was found to be 2. So 2 is equal to 1 upon x minus 2, and it has solved. X minus 2 is equal to 1 upon 2. So x is equal to 2.5. Y is equal to minus 2. So this is another example. I believe I have covered everything as far as linear equations are concerned. Fantastic. We are done. Just to let you know, there are many sums including board exams. All right. Almost 83 sums are there. They are from ICSE book, they are from SSC textbook, board, and my own questions designed for teaching purposes, classroom teaching. So you have plenty of sums to understand this. I am sure you will, learn the linear equation very easily using this sheet. So don't forget to get this sheet downloaded. Thank you for listening to me. Hope you enjoyed the demo. Stay tuned for next math concept sheets and the demonstration videos. Bye bye.